Why Not? A queer podcast.
Thank you to our sponsor, Pineapple Healthcare, an award-winning primary care clinic right here in Orlando.
Pineapple Healthcare offers mental health counseling, HIV, STI testing and treatment, and specializes in care for the LGBTQ plus community.
Open Monday through Saturday. Call today at 407-553-6336 and schedule your appointment.
Pineapple Healthcare. Better together.
Hi, everybody. I'm Rick Todd.
And I'm Jeremy Williams, and you're listening to Wine,
Why Not? A queer podcast.
episode 111. That's 111.
That's got to mean something.
It sure does. It's funny you bring that up because I found three things.
If you add another one to it, that's my PIN code. And all my passwords. 11111.
I bet our listeners are so happy that you feel comfortable to share that information. Are you a sports guy? Are you into cricket?
I'm not actually, but you know what? I did watch a little bit of cricket when I was in a standstill on I-4. There's like a baseball field somewhere or a field of some kind between Tampa and Orlando, and there often are cricket matches.
Oh, well, next time you're stuck in traffic, this might help bring a little knowledge to the game for you when you're watching. But 111 has significance in cricket.
Really?
It has to do with the scoring. And when you score 111, it is called a Nelson, named after Admiral Nelson, who allegedly had one eye, one arm, and one leg near the end of his life. So they call it, so the alternate
You're just making
meaning,
this shit up, aren't you?
No. When they score it and they call it a Nelson, they also call it a one eye, one arm, one arsehole. Arse because they're
Did he lose
British
one? He lost one of everything? Did he have two arseholes?
Let's see. It says this fact is actually inaccurate, and Nelson never lost a leg.
Just an eye
Just
and an arm
everything else.
and a butt.
So yeah, if you're ever playing cricket, just 111, and then if you get 222, that's called a double Nelson, and 333 is a triple Nelson.
So a 111 is a full Nelson.
It's just a Nelson. A full Nelson is a wrestling term. 111 is also the emergency telephone number in New Zealand.
If you get 444, is that like a full Monty?
No, I have told you all of my knowledge of cricket.
I was just thinking of things
I know
that were
nothing
full.
outside of that.
Well, that's exciting stuff.
The only other thing I found with 111 is that kind of the consensus on Reddit is that if you see 111 everywhere, like on road signs or clocks, you keep seeing 111, it means that you are on the right path in life and to keep moving forward with what you're doing. But if you see 999 everywhere, it means you're in Nazi Germany and Hitler is yelling at you. That means you're heading in the wrong direction in life.
What if you see 666 everywhere?
Then you are Beelzebub.
That's what I got too. The angel number, it's associated with confidence, motivation, and independence.
Yeah.
So if you see 111, it's time to get a divorce.
No, you're supposed to keep on that track.
No, it's confidence,
Unless you're moving
independence.
towards divorce.
It means it's Independence Day. No.
I think that's a Martina McBride song. I don't think that's accurate.
That's a good one.
That is a good song.
Good for you, Martina McBride.
Love that song.
You know, apparently that song was...
Speaking of divorce, leaves her husband. No, she kills her husband in that. Spoiler alert for those who haven't heard the song. Doesn't she kill her husband in it because he beats her?
Well, her mom
It's her
does.
Independence Day.
I think it's her mom.
Is the girl singing or the mom singing?
She's singing about someone.
Is she?
Yeah, she tried to pretend he wasn't
I
drinking
don't
again, but Daddy left the proof on her cheek. Bam, got it. Do you want me
So
to
the
sing
daughter
rest?
was singing.
I think so.
Oh, okay. That makes more sense.
Yeah.
All right. So there's 111. That's all I have.
That's all you have? Well, I found my favorite thing to do is to look up, the best directors of all time.
Oh, the 111th best director.
111th director of all time. I bet you outright this company, sign it over to you, you own everything if you get this right. But you don't really want that, so you're going to throw it.
Is it me? Am I the 111th greatest director of all time?
Now, let's keep in mind that Two Away is Christopher Nolan.
Sure, yeah.
So You want me to tell you the movie that?
Sure. Yeah, tell me a movie.
The most famous movie that this person directed: A Time to Live and A Time to Die. It is not an English film.
I have no idea. I've never heard of that film. I'm going to assume that it is Jackie Brown.
No,
I don't know.
it is Ho Xiao Shin.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I was right there. It was either him.
Oh, it was him or him, and I
or
went with
some
Jackie Brown.
lady.
Do you know what the 111th greatest movie of all time is?
The Polar Express.
Keeping in mind again that 110 was Gone with the Wind.
Oh,
So this was one
how the Grinch
worse.
stole Christmas.
One movie away. One movie worse than Gone with the Wind. It is Die Nibelung. It's a German film,
It
1924.
sure is,
Silent, I believe. And kind of crazy
as
looking.
this list should be.
Kind of crazy. Yeah, I know. This is exciting stuff, right? I also looked up the 111th greatest athlete of all time.
Cool.
I mean, we should have done this since like the first episode, and
Should we have?
the first 50 would have been cool. Like the greatest athlete of all time was Michael Jordan, according to this list.
No, LeBron James. I don't know. I don't watch basketball.
Good for you for knowing one other athlete's name. No, it's Pauline Ferrand-Prévot. She's a French road bicyclist.
Oh, all right.
The youngest in 2012 in the Summer Olympics.
Good for her.
She finished 8th.
Oh.
8th place in the Summer Olympics of 2012 will get you number 111. Under the 111. Are you looking for a remote to turn my mic off? What's happening?
No, my drawer started to buzz, and I'm getting a random spam call.
Oh.
Yeah, I
You
didn't
keep
care
your
for
phone
that.
keep your phone in your drawer?
I do. Out of the way, out of sight, out of mind. I don't want to be checking my
Well, we'll
messages
let the
while we're
audience
talking.
decide whose facts on 111 were more interesting.
Sure.
No. You okay? You want us to pause?
No, it keeps
You got-
buzzing.
you got- Did you take that?
So, before we get started on our week, let's talk about our day. Have you? It's been shitty weather.
I was like,
weather.
I've told you
Been
about my day and
shitty weather.
how like the world is
I
ending
wanted to
bad.
share
I think
this.
it is.
There was a tornado that hit the Fox 35 Orlando news station.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They were doing the newscast and the building started to shake. Isn't that crazy?
Really?
Yeah.
Where's that located?
Over near Lake Mary and Sanford area.
Is it that far out?
Yeah.
Okay.
According to their headline.
There's some like in the like Lee Road, Winter Park
Yeah,
area.
like ABC Philly is downtown.
And
that's
NBC
over near,
is at Lee Road.
Dr. Phillips. Yeah. And then all the other ones, I think, are over near Sanford.
Well, I hope everyone's okay. I did
Lake
see on
Mary.
the news somewhere before I turned the channel to Friends when I was at home for lunch.
Sure.
That there were tornadoes. So I hope everybody's okay.
Yeah. So everybody stay safe out there. It's going to be crappy weather all day. Or it's starting to clear up now, and then it'll be beautiful weather all day. I don't know. I'm not a meteorologist. But it was shitty
it's going to be
earlier.
cloudy all day.
Boo.
But it's not going to rain anymore, hopefully.
Oh, very nice.
Which works out well for me.
Fantastic. Oh, yeah, because you're taking a little day trip today
I
to
am.
go see your favorite band.
The greatest duo of all time.
Batman and Robin. No? That's not where you're going?
I guess I should say singing duo of all time.
Captain and Tennille.
Close. You're not far. You're not far with that.
I bet they're 111 on the greatest duos of all
Look,
time.
No, I'm going to see Air Supply.
Air Supply, yes.
It is. Let me just talk about my obsession for Air Supply real
Sure.
quick. Because it's gotten more. It's gotten worse. Like usually it's like, hey, I'm just gonna go see Air Supply whenever I can get free tickets to their show or whenever they're at EPCOT, which is why I have an annual pass. So they were at EPCOT yesterday, which I went to go see them, and then they are there tonight, which is what I'm going to go see as well. For my birthday, though, Jen actually purchased tickets. They're going to be in Daytona at the Peabody Auditorium on March 21st, something like that. So we're going there. And I'm so excited about it. So I posted on Facebook last night that I'm seeing Air Supply, and somebody I went to high school with messaged me and was like, "Hey, I have tickets to see them in Clearwater in April, but I can't use them. Do you want to buy the tickets from me?" And I was like, I don't know. I've seen them now. I've seen them then. And then it hit me that like it's their 50 anniversary tour. So they got together, started singing 50 years ago. And I'm like, there's no way this is going to continue for a long time. So I'm just going to go every chance I get. So I said, you know what? Screw it. Bought the tickets from her, and now I'm going to go see them in April as well.
Your husband was telling us earlier that you're making him see them like 6 times in less than 2 months. Well, he didn't use the word making. He said he gets to, and he was super excited.
Yeah. If he knows what's good for him, he'll change his attitude. I said, do you want to go? And he's like, sure. Yeah. I'm making him go. I actually was surprised when he came into town Saturday night to go see Air Supply at EPCOT. I was like, oh, you're going?
So you saw them Saturday, Sunday, and you're singing tonight?
No, they saw on Sunday and Monday. Okay. He came in Saturday night because we were going Sunday.
Oh, gotcha.
So Sunday, Monday, and then I'll see them at the end of March and then mid-April.
Very nice. Very nice.
He did say this, though. I'll tell you what. Let's talk about the things he said.
Okay.
When we got out of that show, he said that was actually really good, and I imagine at a concert that's at a concert hall and not EPCOT, and they're singing more of their music, that it's probably really good. Like, yeah. And I'll say this. People make fun of me all you want, but if you have not seen Air Supply in concert, then you don't know what you're talking about, because they're actually really good.
I'm sure they are.
Most live music is good.
For people who enjoy their music. I mean, I wouldn't go see, like, I don't know, Insane Clown Posse and be like, oh, what a great concert.
Yeah.
I would actually fear for my life, I think, at that one. Okay, so when you see them at EPCOT, it's shorter than a typical concert.
Yeah, they probably sing 4 or 5 songs. They're like 30-minute. They do a 30-minute, 30-minute, and then like a 40-minute show. The last one's 40 minutes because they have more time, or 45 minutes, something like that. And they sing like Air Supply does it differently. They don't sing the same songs each set. Most people do, but they don't, which is nice. But you know and
they do 3 shows a day there, right?
It's not as sleepy as one might think. Like they're like it is. In fact, Dylan at one point was like, it's really loud. Like they really lean into like drums and like electric guitar and stuff like that. So it's not as sleepy as it is listening to the radio. To be honest with you, for the last 15 years, I don't listen to Air Supply on the radio. I just go to their shows.
Nice. Do you go to all 3 showings per day?
Absolutely.
All right.
There's a pattern. You go go around and you eat, because it's the festival, and we'll get to the festival and the stuff like that. But there's a festival going on, and this is part of that Flower Garden concert series. So you walk halfway around the world eating food at the stations, right? If you get there around 3, which is our plan today, and you eat around half the world, by the time you get to the pavilion where they're performing, it's time for their first show. So you just kind of stand in the back of the theater and watch it and listen to it. And then you get in line for the second show, but you don't go in. You just stay at the front of the line for the third show, and you stand there and watch the second show from there. And then for the third show, you get a really good seat. But you see all 3 of them. Or listen to all 3 of them. I want to say this, though. I want to say this, though.
Yeah.
Clearly, the lead singer for Air Supply is something's happening. Like, I don't know if he's on Ozempic or if he's doing something, but he's like, he's like half the size that he was the last time that we saw him.
Good for him.
But he definitely looks like an older gentleman. But I feel like looking at him when he came out there, I was like, maybe I didn't have to buy those tickets to see him in Clearwater. I feel like they might be around for a little while, because he looked way healthier than he did before. And and what's weird about them, I don't know, do you like anybody that's old that sings? Like,
I like Andrea Bocelli. He's old.
Like how old's Dolly Parton or Cher?
Oh, Dolly Parton and Cher, they're up there. Yeah, sure.
Do they sound like people who are aging when they sing?
Yeah, neither one of them, but I think that they probably use help.
I think Dolly Parton. Might.
You know who Tanya Tucker is one, or who's the one who sings Joni Mitchell?
Yeah.
If you listen to Joni Mitchell back in the beginning of her career and now, because I think she had a stroke or something. But I love that like weathered old voice from singers who have been doing it for like 50 years.
Well, I used to go see a lot of Barry Manilow concerts. I'm obsessed with Barry Manilow as well.
Yeah.
And the last time I went to see him in concert, I said to Jen, this is probably the last one we need to see because he's sounding like he's not singing well. Like Paul McCartney sounds nothing like he did. You know, he sounds like, he still sounds okay, but he just sounds like an older version of him. It's like a way older version. This guy from Air Supply kills it. Sounds just like, I mean, it's maybe like a half step or a step lower in the register than what he normally performed at when he was younger, but he still hits those high notes and carries them out. Now the other guy who writes the songs, his name is Graham Russell. Russell Hitchcock is the lead singer. He sings really well. He can't sing at all. In fact, I believe that they turn up the music when he's supposed to sing. And like shut his mic off so you can't hear him because it's bad. But the other guy's really good.
Oh, good for them.
It's not bad. It's endearing. I like the fact that they've been together 50 years and they get out there on stage and sing and do their thing, and like we don't care.
Yeah. Have you seen videos of Frankie Valli out there doing his thing?
No, but I saw your impression of it yesterday.
Oof. What?
Didn't you do an impression of it yesterday?
Did I see you yesterday?
Today's Monday. No. When did you do that? Was it Friday? Must have been the video camera I have set up in your house.
Oh, well.
Awkward.
Yeah, well, I did look like Frankie Valli this
Who
weekend.
was it then? Didn't you? You must have said it somewhere.
I may have told you, but I don't think I've done an impression of him. Have I? Maybe I did. I don't
Why
remember.
don't you do an impression of him right now, and then I'll tell you if it's the one I saw. Yeah, it's the one I saw.
Yeah, and it's funny because he's got 4 backup singers who are all like in their 20s. So he's holding the microphone up to his mouth and he's just like, and it's like you're listening to the record because you are.
Oh.
He is lip syncing to this and his lips don't even match the words. And then the 4 guys harmonize behind him and then drown him out. It made me think of it when you said that they turned the guy's microphone down. But yeah, he needs to, I'm sure he needs the money or something. That's why he keeps doing it. But they need to stop carting that man out on stages.
Did he not get better with money? You saw Jersey Boys, right?
Nah.
I saw the movie.
I
It's
saw
about
the
him,
movie,
right?
Yeah.
And how the other people around him kept screwing up their money, so he kept giving all his money to them.
That's why he's still doing.
Yeah, still doing it.
Doing what he's doing. But that's fun. Good times. Get lots of Air Supply in.
I'm a fan. Just gonna say, I don't care.
Hey, you know what I've noticed? I have never seen anyone criticize you for listening to Air Supply, yet every conversation you have about Air Supply, you have to constantly remind people that you're not offended by Air Supply and that you love them. And we're all like, yeah, that's cool. And you're like, no, I love them and there's nothing wrong with that. And we're like, yeah, cool, all right. Love what you love.
I am.
No one judges you. You're in a safe space.
That is not true. I am most certainly laughed at a lot.
By who? Give us names. Aw, that's okay. He doesn't know what music is.
Anyway, how was your week?
My week was okay. It was another busy one that ended up getting me sick. Well, it didn't get me sick. I got a little cold, but it got compounded by what my doctor thinks is being out around flowers and gardens all day and then running around a dusty fair. It turned up my allergies, and then the cold on top of the allergies just compacted my head to the point where I started to lose my hearing and everyone was sounding like robots. When we were driving back.
Yeah.
And I was like, the radio started sounding staticky. And I was like, does the radio sound normal to you? And you're like, yeah, sounds fine.
It sounds
and I was
fine
like,
to
it does not. Everybody sounds like robots. So I went home that night and I had taken an antihistamine because I was like, it must have been my allergies. And then I felt fine the next day. And then it came back on Friday. So I went by and saw my doctor and he's like, you got a little cold. It's, you're a little raspy in there. He goes, but what I think it is the cold along with your allergies kicking back up. So he just adjusted my meds a little bit and gave me another nasal spray. And I sound better today.
You sure do.
I sound better than I did on over the weekend.
You said Dusty Fair, and I thought, what a great name for a drag queen.
Dusty, yeah. That is a good name. I can write that down. But no, the fair was, well, we'll lead into that. We went to, it was Pride Night at the fair, at the Central Florida County Fair. And it was a really good time. But, fairs are dusty. They're outside. There's, so there was a lot of dust and everything being picked up.
Yeah, it's real nice. I want to give a thumbs up. Let's give a thumbs up to the LGBT Center, the Center Orlando. I forget.
Sure, they're all right.
What version of their name is out there today? But they sort of host this Pride Night at the Fair, and Watermark's a big part of it. And but it was great this time because the parking was like right up in there. Like it was easy to get in there.
Set up, and we were like. Right, so
we set this thing up. We had a booth going, lots of other people. It was really cool. I mean, we were there pretty early, so the first 45 minutes we were there was just a real nice catch
just
up,
chilling and
catch up with all your
folks.
friends at all their other booths and stuff like that, which was really kind of cool. But we're sitting there and we're kind of thinking that we're getting hungry a little bit, and we look over across the way, and someone with the Pride Chamber is eating something. There's this big bucket.
She's just holding a bucket with a fork in it.
With a fork and just eating away, and we couldn't tell what it was. So we walked over to see what it was, and it was a bucket of fries.
Yeah, bucket o' fries.
A humongous bucket
of fries, cheese sauce, ranch dressing, and bacon.
Yes. And we learned all of that when we went to purchase our own bucket of fries that we decided we had to have. And it was all throughout. It wasn't...
Yeah,
it wasn't just on the top.
On top. It was gooey all the way through, and it was delicious.
It was delicious for the first.
I cleaned the bucket
minutes.
out. I ate the whole thing.
When I got to the last 4 or 5 bites, I was sort of like, "Don't do it."
Did you do it?
Show yourself a little bit of dignity. Don't do it.
You're eating food out of a bucket at a fair. There is no dignity.
I couldn't. Oh, and I had to, what's funny to me is that while they were making my bucket of fries, I had to walk around a couple different booths to find a Diet Coke.
Yeah.
Didn't want to get fat. Anyway, bucket of fries. Let me tell you, that was some good shit.
Yeah, it
but
was
I haven't
really
had
good.
a lot of grease lately, so the fries got real greasy towards the end.
Sit well with you.
And it was just, my body did not react well. I'll just say that.
Yeah. But it's a good time. So if you got...
it really is. You should, I'm telling you what,
check out the fair.
It's worth it.
It is... Oh, check out the fair next year. It closed yesterday. But enjoy the bucket of fries next year when you
Was it supposed to, or did Doge just come in and say they had drag queens get rid of them?
No, their calendar just ends on the 9th. So I'm assuming it's supposed to end yesterday. But we go each year, and it's a lot of fun.
Great.
So
you should go for Pride Night. It's really kind of cool. I always find that, it's a different crowd that goes. We go to a lot of queer events.
Yeah.
And I always see people that I have no idea who they are at this. So it's really cool.
Yeah. Earlier that day, you and I went to EPCOT for the International Flower and Garden Festival.
We did.
2025.
We spent a lot of time together.
Yeah, we did. We did. Shout out to our friends at Disney, who are always so gracious to invite us to these things. And no shout outs to other theme parks who replied back to me to my request on emails and said, we won't be entertaining your request this year, Jeremy.
Oh, well, let's just say...
I won't name names.
We won't name names. We'll just say that the Flower and Garden preview was epic.
It sure was. Well, how would we know? We apparently don't get to find out what epic is. Anyway, they are wonderful at Disney.
I will go and buy my ticket, and I won't say one damn thing about it on this podcast. No, I'm just kidding.
I'll tell you what, though. I may buy a ticket to go there, but I won't buy a ticket for 4 or 5 years. I am not going to a theme park as it is opening with the regular crowd. If we get invited to a press preview or something, or an employee's hey, come check this out. But do you remember the last time a park opened over there? Or when the Harry Potter section opened and the freaking traffic was down I-4 for people to get in? I ain't going there. They'll be lucky if I ever go to that side of town.
That's Strawberry Festival traffic right there.
What is the deal with that?
I
I
wouldn't-
grew up, I went to high school in Plant City. The Strawberry Festival ain't worth standing in that line for.
I'm going to tell you this, that when I was driving to Orlando Saturday from St. Pete, and the backup was 7 miles.
That's ridiculous.
7 miles.
Although
and
I
it was
will
all
say-
to get off at exit 19 to go to that. And I was sitting there looking, it was 5 o'clock. The concert's at probably at 6. It's like,
Yeah.
y'all ain't gonna make it.
It's funny because when we had the Wonder Party in St. Pete and I was driving back that night was Reba. Now, Reba, I might go to the Strawberry Festival to see, but the traffic wasn't that bad. But yeah, during like, I don't know who's playing there, LFO or like playing, and people will just line up for miles. It's like, what are you lining up for?
So they got a big Strawberry Festival following, LFO.
I don't know. I just saw I saw the ad and I'm like,
Oh, really?
LFO, why the fuck?
I know,
the
right?
Strawberry Festival. I thought when
I would
was
expect
growing
like
up, it was
Ricky
all
Skaggs.
It was all country folk.
Yeah.
Now it's like washed up boy bands. But all right. We love you, LFO. Do you know Tamisha?
So when is Joey Fatone going to be there?
Tamisha Harris?
Yeah.
She was a backup dancer for LFO back in the 90s.
Really?
And she, when they assembled in sync, she was on the team that taught them how to dance.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Do you see my, like, me being like, oh, really? I don't know who LFO is. I mean, I've seen those initials together, but it might have been a UFO.
It's that song, you know, New Kids on the Block had a lot of hits.
Oh, they did?
Thai food makes me sick,
Yeah.
and I think it's fly when girls stop by for the summer.
Okay,
Yeah.
now we got that one down. I've heard of that one. Do they sing another song?
Dude, they're playing at the Strawberry Festival. You're like, yeah, I remember that song.
One step down from Epcot's
Anyway,
curtain
but
series.
Epcot was fantastic.
It really was.
They lined us up. We got there pretty early in the morning, and it was pouring down rain. And as if the topiary gods themselves wanted us to see the freshest of flowers, it stopped raining just as we were allowed to walk into the park, and everything looked so fresh and green, and it was delightful.
It was.
Yeah.
We were there pretty early, though.
We were. They and I don't know if there was just like they were supposed to do something, but then they were like, oh well, we're just gonna let them go do their own thing. Like if they had something set up, but yeah, we had to be there at 8 o'clock. They were taking us in, and we were gonna first see. I don't know what that area is called where they brought us in, where they had
Communicore.
the Communicore.
Yes.
So they were going to
It's
give us
the
a
new
preview
building
of
in
that.
Epcot, and they do a lot of cool stuff. That's where they had like when they did the Broadway stuff.
Yeah.
They had all the Broadway artifacts in there. It's cool.
So we got to look at the topiary in there, and they had the bee and some models and stuff, little Toy Story models and stuff set up. So I thought, oh, well, they'll come in, we'll sample foods or whatever. And we just hung out there. And people were walking around like they weren't sure what we were supposed to be doing
Everybody
in
was
there.
trying to like barter with each other on like, go see if that door's open.
Yeah, are
Like,
we allowed to leave?
Can we leave through there?
So
Can-
eventually they were like, listen, you guys can just go into the park. But none of the food carts opened until 11. So we were walking around Epcot for 2 hours about.
We definitely got our steps in. We decided
yeah.
what we were going to do is walk around the World Showcase and take pictures of all the flowers.
Yes.
And then hopefully it'd be time for the things to be open and we walk around again and
it
eat all the
timed out
food. And
well.
it worked out really well. So it was cool.
So we walked around, and there's big, beautiful photos with my big, brand new iPhone. So if you go to watermarkoutnews.com, you can look at those photos. I had, no joke, I'm not even kidding. I had several people say, I saw your pictures from Epcot. Those are beautiful photos. And I was like, iPhone. So congratulations, Apple, because
want
you're getting
names.
your money's worth.
I want names.
Melissa and Alex were looking at the photos and they said, those are really beautiful photos. You took those? And I said, yeah, don't look so surprised. And then Joey and Chris were also, because I was showing them the photos that I took, and they're like, wow, those look really good. And I was like, iPhone, yeah. Really
Well, I posted a
impressed.
picture of the Air Supply concert last night, and not one person said it looked nice. Damn you, Google.
But we went around, and there's, big, beautiful topiaries and gardens.
Really cool.
And then we went back around, and we did some of the foods.
Well, before we did the foods, to kind of kill some time, we went to the store to look at
Oh, yes, we went and looked at the merchandise.
for the festival, which was really kind of cool stuff.
You bought up some merchandise.
A little
I got
more
a
than
salt
I
and pepper
should.
shaker, which And my first, so when we get in there, the salt and pepper shakers are like separated. So all they had were the orange ones. And I was like, how are you going to be able to tell what the salt and the pepper is? So I was like, I don't want them. And then you found there's a yellow one. So one has the bee on it.
One's got the bee and one's got the orange bird.
So I was like, oh, okay, they're separate. So I'll get those two. But they're the garbage cans. Like throughout Disney, which I thought was interesting choice for salt and pepper shakers. But they're cute. So I got those and you got everything else.
Everything else. I bought one of everything.
Yeah.
Which was ridiculous. And I saw these things that I wanted and I went in and I was like, I'm going to set a budget and I'm not going to go over that and I don't need all this stuff. And then I was like, but I want the shorts. And then I was like, and I like this shirt, but I'm not going to wear the shirt and the shorts that match. So I got to buy this other shirt to wear with these shorts. And then I was like, I need a mug to have specifically when we talk about it on this podcast.
And you are not drinking from that mug.
I'm not. I'm drinking from my Ozark mug because I forgot it. And now I'm annoyed that I spent the money on it. Oh, and then I bought a new Orange Bird bag that I love.
Oh, yeah. You're a big fan of those little bags.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't even know why. They're not big enough to hold the big clack fans that, you might want to carry with you on gay day. But whatever. It's just an accessory.
Yeah.
I don't mind it. I spent a little over $200 on merchandise there, but it was worth it. I stopped myself last night from buying more because then I was like, well, I live in St. Pete.
What else was there to buy?
I live in St. Pete and I live in Orlando and I love the shorts so much. I was like, don't I need a pair for each city? And so then I was going to get it. But because I spent $100 on air supply tickets on the fly, I was like, I'm going to save it.
I'll tell you what, and this might be a little trick that you might want to use. You roll those shorts up and you stick them in your little backpack and you take them over to St. Pete with you.
That never works.
All right.
I have to have two of everything because then inevitably I'll bring it to a city and then I'll not bring it back.
Yeah.
I do that a lot with my medication. A lot.
Well, yeah, you should probably focus on that more than the shorts. Make sure you got in both places.
Can you tell I haven't had my blood pressure medication in a week? No, I'm just kidding.
I have some. Do you need some? What do you take?
Lisinopril?
Never mind.
What do you take?
A Tylenol?
I don't know what that is.
It's a blood pressure pill. What do you think we're talking about?
Well, no, I mean, I haven't heard of that one.
Oh.
But luckily, I know someone else that takes lisinopril and I steal theirs. But theirs is more powerful than mine.
Is it your mother? Are you stealing your mother's medication?
No.
Yeah, all right.
I steal Jen's.
Oh, that's.
I just didn't want to say that. I don't think she wants me talking about what she takes. Do you want to know what she takes?
So we walked around and I figured I'll just tell you a couple of favorite things, favorites, and then I'll tell you your favorites. But we started off because it was early. So we were like breakfast. They had chicken and waffles that were amazing.
Delicious.
So good. I don't know the different areas, but I have a little book here, so I'll look it up. Yeah, but what was the area called?
It's where that ice cream shop is, the soft serve ice cream. I don't know what that little area is called. Okay, Port of Entry.
Port of Entry.
Yeah, it's across from that. Across from the thing. It's good. The chicken and waffles are delicious.
Outstanding. I loved them.
There's something else we got there.
Is it cauliflower?
Yeah, you can skip the
cauliflower. Because every time they do a festival, you get their little passport book, and then you get stamps in the back for certain things. Like during the holidays, they do the cookie thing. They were doing plant-based food. So whenever you got a plant-based food, you got a stamp. So we tried a couple of different vegetarian options to get the stamps.
You eat the woke food, you get a stamp.
So that is why. Oh, honey glazed cauliflower. Oh, it's the honey.
You don't have to write that down. We're not using that as a promo. I don't want to get canceled. I said we eat the woke food, you get a stamp.
Oh. The Honey Bistro, hosted by the National Honey Board. Near Port of Entry, featuring Pandora Jewelry. That's the whole official name. They got the chicken and waffles. They got the honey glazed cauliflower. And then we didn't do this till after when we were leaving. But across they have the mascarpone cheesecake.
Nitro
cheesecake. Which is a fun idea, but in actuality, did not enjoy it.
Yeah, it didn't work out.
Freeze dried
because the top cheesecake. Of it was like frozen solid, and the middle was still a little mushy, and it just didn't work for me.
I don't like crunchy cheesecake, but they had a peanut butter and jelly ice cream cone, soft serve, which was amazing. But because it's Florida, melted instantly. So I had like peanut butter and jelly ice cream hand, and I was just licking like a crazy man. Anyway, there's a picture of that on the website also. So some of the other things we tried. This was in the ramen was in China, right?
No,
that's in
ramen was in Japan.
So they have a cold ramen salad, I guess we'll call it. Here,
Yeah, it's a ramen cup, and it's got edamame, and ramen and corn and something, and it's in a noodle cup.
Yes, it's like you remember the salad shakers at McDonald's back in the day with a little kid, and then you shake it? Sort of like that.
Yeah. And they give you instructions on how to shake it. Yeah. In case you're a complete idiot.
Yeah. She's like, enjoy your cup. Here are the instructions. But it's ramen noodles served with vegetables, grilled chicken, yuzu soy vinaigrette, and chili oil.
Yeah, and I was surprised by this. I don't know why, because I was holding it and shaking it. So I don't know why I was surprised when I went to eat it that it was cold.
Yeah.
It wasn't hot.
But it was so good.
Delicious.
Cold
really
noodles, good. I didn't think I would enjoy, but and we had it with a steamed bun, which was plant-based. We didn't get a stamp for that. We should have stamped for that. But it's a plant-based steamed bun, and that was delicious also. Very light.
When I go there and tell them that I need to get the stamp for that, and they're going to say, do you have the receipt? And I'm like, no, just listen to minute 35, second 22 of the podcast, and that's the proof.
That's the proof.
We wouldn't talk about it if we didn't do it.
Yeah.
It's really good. I usually skip that station on all the things because I have an aversion to when people make up words for food that don't exist, like zucchini bacon is not bacon, right? So then they've got...
Oat milk is not milk.
They've got frushi. No. Just because you make fruit look like sushi doesn't mean it's a thing. It's just fruit. It's fruit. So anyway, that donut sushi thing, I'm like, it's not a donut.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I always skip that because that irritates me. But this food was delicious. So kudos. Way to go, Japan.
In the American Adventure, the theme was
Nolans.
Nolans. So they had some really good.
Did you get the gumbo? We did.
The gumbo. That's what the word I was trying to remember. Spicy chicken gumbo. They had a muffaletta that was really good.
It was good.
But the best thing was the Bananas Foster bread pudding that looked like a muffin with brown gravy poured on it, which was very unsettling to look at. But it was so delicious.
I want you to know, we went there yesterday, right? And so there were some highlights and things. I said, we got to try these things. So I was like, we've got to get the Banana Foster's bread pudding. So Jen was in line. Dylan and I were scouting at a table. Jen brings to us gumbo and the bread pudding and sets it on the table. And Dylan goes, why do they look the same? It was really unsettling. But I have to tell you, that is the prize of the entire festival.
That was so good.
Banana pudding, bread pudding, Banana Foster's bread pudding. Delicious.
So good. A couple other things we tried in Germany. We did the potato pancakes with the ham and onion, which was good. The cheese strudel, which was pretty good.
Yeah.
And then the toasted pretzel bread, which doesn't look like the picture in the book, but was still tasty.
It looks like a dried lump. It looks like an over-dried baked potato when you get it. But then you bite into it. It's surprisingly deliciously soft and good and creamy.
Yeah, really good. So, so grab that while you're there.
Then
what
we
else
got
did
full.
we try? Then we got full.
We had high hopes for a lot of other things.
Yeah, then we got ice. That's when we got the ice cream and the cheesecake because we were full. And I was like, I can get cheesecake in. And then I love peanut butter and jelly, so I had to do the.
You've got to at least go to this festival twice because you've got to start in one direction. You get halfway around the world, and you're not hungry anymore. So then, or you got to go for more than 1 hour. We're like, let's stuff our faces full of everything in 1 hour. But so I went and did the other things that we had talked about doing. And I did those yesterday. So we went into, I forget what it's called. It's called the Odyssey, but they call it something. It's like the Orange Bird spot or something like that, where Beaker was for the last festival.
Oh yes, it's called
the Odyssey.
The lab. They do. Yeah, the lab thing.
And now in there, they had a bunch of different things. They had like tempura shrimp. Let me see if I can remember all of it. It's tempura shrimp. They had that orange. Remember that orange shake thing? Was it orange lemon shake that we were talking about getting?
Orange lemon smoothie?
There you go. Oh, you got them. Perfect. And then
the lemon tart. Did you do the lemon tart?
I did everything.
Oh. Lumpia?
Yes.
Plant-based pork. I hope you got a stamp for this one. Plant-based pork, green papaya salad, and sweet and sour.
Yeah.
Yeah? Pretty good?
Everything there was pretty good.
Citrus baked. Oh, how was the brie? The baked brie.
Delicious.
It was delicious.
I will say that there's this thing that was on top of the lemon tart.
Did Dylan or try the key lime wine slushy?
No.
Oh, I gotta go back and try that.
No.
Sounds tasty.
There's a thing about their shakes. Remember that Fruit Loop shake we had
Yes.
last year at this festival? All of their shakes kind of have the same consistency.
Yeah.
Which makes sense, right? They all come out of the same kind of machines. And they're bizarrely warm. Like they're not warm. They're ice, but they don't taste cold. I find that very odd. It's just weird to me. But it was really
I thoroughly
good.
enjoyed the Fruit Loop smoothie that we had and the pickle milkshake.
Yes.
Still a big fan.
Both of those things, I stand by what I just said.
Yeah.
They were
those
good.
were good.
Don't get me wrong, they're good. And this tasted like an orange dreamsicle, and it was delicious, right? So that was good. The shrimp was good. All of it was pretty good there. None of it stood out as like the best things in the festival. But after that, we went to Communicore, which is, where we were for 45 minutes trying to find an exit.
Yes.
Yeah, right over there. We're losing Caitlin.
Caitlin's getting choked up thinking
Put your
about
hands
all
above
this
your
food.
head. Put your hands above your head. So we went there, and that's where they had scallops with
I did want to try the scallop.
with pea risotto.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got that thing as the best dessert, right? The banana Foster's pudding is the best dessert. The best like food meal thing was the scallops and that pea risotto. The risotto was so good and creamy and delicious. Way, way good.
You wouldn't think being made with pea that it would be good.
It's a Russian delicacy.
I was going through the photos. We forgot. I don't remember
It's like
what
a pea
land it was
tape.
in, but we had the seafood ceviche and the whatever that thing with the jelly.
Oh, the coconut
Yeah.
flan cocoa or
I
something.
didn't care for the jelly of it, but the creamy flan
Yeah.
part of it was really good.
Yeah.
Um,
We needed one more stamp, and we almost went back and got that, but then everybody's like, I don't want to walk anymore, so I'm going to take that book back and get it today. But after also in the Communicore place remember we were going to try that blueberry crumble cake?
yes.
That was really good.
Yeah.
But what made it so good was like the blueberry ice cream that came with it, which was so delicious. So we did that, and then I did the shrimp, no, the dip trio. You remember the potato chips, and they had a pimento cheese was one. There was an onion dip, and then there was like a whipped feta dip. All of it delicious. It's just a really good festival for food.
Yeah.
I would say this. I'll go out on a limb and say
Epcot's festivals are good for food.
they are good for food, but this was better than the Food and Wine Festival that Epcot does. Like the food is really, really good.
Even though that one has food in its title?
So that's the surprising part of it.
Surprising. Disney is full of surprises.
AKA the Dry Cookie Festival.
You know who isn't? He who shall not be named. I am bitter. The gays like your theme
find
parks
it
too.
interesting that they sent you an email. I was not aware that they replied to your request for media passes to say, no, thank you. We will not be doing this today.
Oh, we love to hear from you, but no. Anyway.
We know enough people that work there. Let's find out what's going on.
Hey, Bobby.
I hear we have a real good connection to HR now.
Oh, yeah. She takes her husband. She ain't going to take me. Oh.
The Watermark wife.
Oh, yes. She ain't going to take us. She's going to take her wife. No, Bobby works there now. I got to hit him up. Make the note.
I'm sure he has direct access to marketing.
No, not for media tech, but the employees they have employee days going on right now.
Oh, hey, how you doing, Bobby?
No, he heard that mocking you just did. He's taking me.
Yeah, I know. I pretty much
Nick
ruined my
Smith
chances.
also works there too. Hey, Nick.
Hey, Nick, how's it going?
Hey.
Don't forget your
Remember when
Watermark
I
family.
bought your painting? Anyway, so really good time at that festival. If you haven't checked it out, it's going on through June.
It is, and
Or
there's
till
all
June
kinds
2nd.
of people playing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you know what made me buy those Air Supply tickets? I remember this because she's playing in this concert series later this year. Taylor Dane is opening for Air Supply at
Taylor
Clearwater.
Dane. I wrote in the little story, I put some Air Supply, Rick Springfield, Sugar Ray, Jody Messina. I would love to see Jody Messina. Taylor Dane, Plain White Tees. Speaking of the band that I know one song
She's
from.
lesbian, right? Jody Messina?
No, that's not is that the lesbian one? I don't think she's the one who
Well,
came
let me
out.
find out.
Maybe
I
she
don't want
did.
to out somebody if they're not out.
I don't remember.
She sings
And the Pointer Sisters. Single white female? No, that's Shelley Wright. You're thinking Shelley Wright.
I am definitely not.
Jody Messina's not a lesbian. Shelley Wright is the lesbian. She used to sing a white female. I love that song. She also heads Carolina, tails California. None of this? Kids? No? You don't know your country history? All right. He went out for cigarettes and just kept driving on. No? All right. Anyway, it's an amazing album.
I'm enjoying it. Keep going.
That's all I know.
Oh, no, she's not. She's not.
She's not?
She's not gay. Sorry, Jody.
I'm sorry to you, Jody. Let's see. What else did I do? Oh, the day before we went to EPCOT and everything, I went downtown. There was a bunch of protests down there. There was a really good turnout. Crazy people screaming and yelling, traffic honking their horns. I hope you were paying attention, progressive Orlando City Hall. It's good to get out there and be seen, though.
Jody Messina sings Lesson and Leavin', and it's one of my favorite songs.
She did a duet with Tim McGraw that I remember when I was younger that I really enjoyed, but I can't remember the name of it right now. But
Good for her.
I would love to see Jody Messina and Shelley Wright if she wants to come out, because apparently I know all of her shit. Let's see. Oh, and then I saw earlier in the week, I saw Alex and Melissa, and we had dinner and chatted and caught up, and it was lovely to see them.
Oh, nice.
But that was my week. Did you do anything else other than Air Supply?
I went and saw MJ again. I saw it at Dr. Phillips Performing Arts Center this time.
As good, just as good, better, worse.
It was pretty much just as
better
good.
Seats?
We had, I mean, it's interesting to say.
It's okay. Straz doesn't listen.
I'm always like, I'm always like, the closer you are to the better, because if you can't see their faces, you can't really get emotionally invested in what's happening. But I think being back further was probably better. Because once we were sitting way closer. We're like in row B. Like, we were very close, which is great. So I love it. But a lot of the acting was a little more melodramatic in this case. And so I was like, okay. But we were right in front of the speaker, which was kind of cool because it made all the songs even that much more wonderful. But there was something there was a lot of joy in that show that I really liked, because there's a part towards the end where MJ is saying, he was looking off into space and somebody's like, "Are you okay?" And he said, "I'm just remembering that time when my brothers and I performed at the Apollo." Why are you about to laugh?
Nothing. Okay, this is going to be a
You're
weird
looking at me,
connection.
start laughing.
So I'm watching you talking to the microphone, and then it reminded me of a YouTube video I was watching where people were talking about how there's just so many podcasts these days. I was looking at the microphone and I was remembering a comment somebody made that said, "You know what? Donald Trump needs to put tariffs on podcast equipment so he can limit how many podcasts there are." And it just was making me laugh in my head.
Well, it warms my heart to know that you give a shit what I'm saying on this podcast.
I'm listening to you, but I'm also staring at your microphone.
But so he said that he remembers when they performed at that amateur night for the first time, and all the applause that they got, that he felt true love that at that moment on that stage. And I was remembering those lines at the end of the show when they do those stupid little concert things that jukebox musicals love to do. Oh, you stood up to applaud for us. Now just stand there and look weird while we all sing and dance for 20 minutes.
Last episode, because I was listening.
Yeah.
I listen.
So... but there's two cast members that are young, and they play like young Michael Jackson and the young Michael Jackson's brother, and they were just dancing and having a great time, and they were getting a standing ovation. And I thought, oh, this is the moment for them. No, he was older, way older.
Who's the other younger?
I don't know. I don't think
Janet?
it was Marlon.
Janet was younger.
What was the
Janet in it?
It's all the boys.
Oh,
sorry, ladies.
Didn't know that it was a sexist show.
Well,
are there any women in it?
Didn't you? It's called MJ. So anyway, it was just really cool to witness that moment for them.
Yeah.
It was really cool. And they danced like the Jackson 5 dance in the 70s. I could watch it all day.
Nice.
That was cool. I did that, and then I had softball. I just want to point out that we finally won a game. Good job, Serge. Congratulations. I did really well. Dylan was there, which was weird because he never goes to the games.
Oh, so he must be your good luck charm.
That's what Jen said. Jen said he's good luck. He has to be at all the games. It's not going to happen. He goes to all the Air Supply shows. So I give him that.
He says you get softball or you get Air Supply. You don't get both.
He gets more when he gets air supply. Well, that sounded
what?
really weird. That did not come out the way that I intended for that to.
We don't have to share everything.
He's on the other side of the door going, damn right I do.
I'm going to encourage you to journal those kind of moments.
Anyway, that was my week.
Nice. Sounds like fun.
I mean, I
good
did
weeks.
something that you didn't do.
Oh.
I watched Prime Target.
Oh,
I watched
yeah.
all 8 episodes. So we got recommended a couple of shows, and sometimes when we're recommended shows, we like to check them out because we assume that somebody else has watched them and loves them. So Prime Target came on our radar, which was something I already wanted to see because it's like a spy thriller, and I love those kind of shows. I didn't realize it was about that it involved a queer relationship with the lead character. So I started watching that. We were going to watch that and talk about it today.
Yes.
I watched the first episode and I hated it.
And then you text me and said, hey, I didn't care for the first episode. It's slow. Let's do something else. So we're going to talk about what we're going to talk about today.
It's very mathy.
Yes.
The first episode.
I believe that's what you said to
Yeah.
me. This is really mathy.
And then the second episode.
But then those fractions were calling out to you.
Oh yeah.
And you went back.
Yeah, it was, and then I went back and I watched it, and then it became interesting, and I watched the whole thing. But then I also watched the movie that we decided to watch instead. So I don't know if we're going to talk about Prime Target at some point or not.
I'm
but
sure we will.
if you like spy thrillers,
Someday.
it's definitely worth the watch. The lead in it was the nephew of the gays in White Lotus season 2.
Yes.
Is that what he was?
Yeah,
He
I
was
think-
related
yeah.
to the head gay and
I think so, yeah.
the gays. And so it's good. It was worth it. Worth a watch. But then we decided, because this has been recommended, it's been on our list for a
Yes.
while. I know people that love this show, so we decided to watch Everybody's Talking About Jamie.
Yes, an Amazon Prime exclusive.
They're talking about it. What are they saying?
They're saying, hey, that's Jamie.
Hey,
They
Jamie.
sing about it too. Someone's talking about Jamie.
I will say this about this movie.
Yes.
As soon as it starts, on the screen it says, this story really happened. And then we added singing and dancing. And I was like, I'm going to love this.
Isn't that how all life is?
I can't wait for Wine, Wine, Not the musical.
It's all true stories with singing and dancing added in. All right. So we watched Everybody's Talking About Jamie. For those who don't know what it is a 2021 musical comedy that the Brits put on. They're all British. And I guess it was based off of a stage show that was around for a couple of years. 2017, I think I read.
Yeah.
That it came out.
And it's based on a true story.
And it, as you said, it's based on a true story with singing and dancing added in. And it stars Max Harwood as the titular Jamie. Yes. So it opens up with Jamie. He's in class. We meet him. He's daydreaming. And we meet his teacher, who we come to find. I wrote, and I apologize for this, in my notes, she is written down as bitch teacher. She's a horrible person.
Did you notice, like, at the beginning of the movie, though, how much he just hangs out in the rain?
Oh, yeah. He was
Like,
delivering
he delivers-
mail or newspapers or
or
something.
pastries
And it's
or I don't know.
raining, and he's, like, running around in the rain.
It's just in the rain. And he's wearing
kicking his
jeans.
feet up, and
Is this what people do in England? Like,
it rains all the time.
oh,
I
it's
hear.
raining. I'm just going to put on my jeans and go
Yeah.
bicycle around in the rain.
Rains every day. True story with singing and dancing.
His teacher, bitch teacher, which is a good
Yeah.
name for her.
Yeah.
She doesn't seem like it right off the
She
bat.
starts
She
off
kind of
like-
seems cool.
She's like, hey, young Jamie.
This is how they get
what
you.
do you want to do with your life? And then a lot of the songs in this are sort of like, you remember Chicago, when they did Chicago, where like it's life is happening, but then in Roxy's head is where she's saying all the musical
Mm-hmm.
numbers. That's kind of what this is he fantasizes these big musical numbers.
Much like in Love, Simon, when he has that
Oh,
musical
that
about
one,
being
yeah,
in
when he goes
college.
to college, yeah. But a whole movie of that. So he's daydreaming about what he wants to do with his life, and this is where they sing the song, And You Even Know It.
It was good. Did you notice that when he said that he liked her shoes?
Yes,
And she said they were Jimmy Choos.
I did notice that.
How much did they pay teachers in England?
Right? Those are, I don't know shoes, but those are expensive
Yeah.
shoes. I know that from Sex and the City. Carrie always wanted Jimmy Choos. So he does a big song and dance number, and then the teacher's like, Jamie, are you daydreaming over there? And she's like, what do you want to do? And he's like, I want to be a performer. And then you think she's going to be like, well, then you're going to do it, Jamie. And she goes, what a stupid fucking thing to say, Jamie. You're fucking stupid.
This is the new world order, okay? It's like, hey, kids, what are your biggest dreams? Okay, now flush those down the toilet because they're never going to happen.
She's
and
like,
you need to get a real job.
Happen. You need to be more realistic, Jamie. And then he's like, no, I'm going to be famous. So then he goes home and we meet his mom and her friend, Ray.
Do you remember the mom?
Do I remember? She looks so familiar. I was going to look it up and I forgot to look it up.
I looked it up. Her name is Sarah Lancashire.
Lancashire.
She's the boss. She's Keira Knightley's boss in Black Doves.
That's where I know her from.
Yeah.
From the Doves.
Black Doves. She's delightful.
She's so good in this.
Yeah.
She's such
delightful.
a non-judgmental mother.
Yeah.
She has everything. She's like, whatever you want to do, Jamie. I'm dealing with these black swans. I can't deal with it right now. Do whatever you want. And she's got a best friend, Ray. Jamie's parents are divorced. And Jamie just turned 16. They're celebrating his birthday party. And Jamie's mom gets a text from his dad that says, I'm not coming to the party. So, and you'll see her do this a couple of times in this movie. She does it because Jamie still kind of idolizes his father, but he's never around. So she does little things to make it like little things and says his father did it. And says he apologized, he had to work. So she runs inside and gets a card and puts 50 quid in it. I don't know what that is in American money.
Anybody know?
50 quid? No.
It sounds like a lot.
50 is a lot. And the pound is more than the dollar.
Let's
so
see.
Look that up while I'm telling the story. So she puts 50 quid in a card and says it's from a dad. And he comes in and he's like, is Dad here? And she's like, oh, he had to work, honey. But I don't know, I'm doing an English accent, which is what I'm doing if you can't tell. Because they're $65. All right. Way to go. But they're I think they're Irish. Jamie sounds Irish to me, I believe.
No, they live in England.
They live in England, but I think that's an Irish accent he has. Or Scottish or something. It didn't sound English. I don't know what area of England that would be, but it sounded, I don't know. Look up what he is.
I know. He's English.
He's English. Okay.
It's not Irish.
Well, he sounded non-English to me. He sounded like an Irishy mix. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Maybe that's just what, English twinks sound like.
Sure. So he opens the card and then his mom's like, oh, I got you a gift too, Jamie. So he opens it and it is a sparkly pair of red high heel shoes that he's been wanting. And she's like, all for you, Jamie. And then he dances around in them.
She goes, when she went to buy them, that the person buying them said, your daughter's got big feet.
So then he sings.
She's like, they're not for my daughter, they're for my son.
He sings Wall
Good
in
for
My
her.
Head, where he sings about the rocky relationships he's had with his dad.
Good song.
And in a flashback, we find out that his dad came in on him trying on a dress and makeup and was very disappointed in
Was it
him.
his mother's wedding dress?
Is that what? It was a white dress.
Because I think they showed the picture of her later on. Yeah.
Then while he's walking up and down the wall in his high heels, one thing I did notice, why is his tie so short? Like he's wearing his school uniform and his tie is like up at his nipples. It's like a really short tie.
Right, like he's the manager of the dairy section at the local Piggly Wiggly.
It was a little weird. I mean, there's got to be a normal link between Jamie and Trump. I mean, like right in here.
He's
Belly
really tall,
button.
though, so it might have been
He is. Maybe it's a clip-on. And then we meet
Maybe it's Maybelline.
We meet his best friend. Her name is Pretty.
She sure is.
And she sure is. And he shows her his new shoes. And she's like, but Jamie, where are you going to wear those at? And he's like, oh, no, I did write this.
She says you're going to wear them to prom.
You're going to wear them. Oh, she goes, you're going to wear them on your feet. And he said, no, I'm going to pierce my nipples and swing them around my tits. And then he decides.
Oh, I get why you might think he's Irish, because he said swing them around me tits.
He did.
He did. You're right.
So Jamie tells Pretty that his dream is to become a drag queen. And she's like, "Oh, you serious?" I love Pretty. She's very supportive, but she's also a religious person. She's Muslim and she wants to be a doctor, so she's a little conservative. And I find that sometimes she comes across a little judgy with Jamie, and I don't care for it. But in all, she's
like an onion. She's got layers.
She is like an onion.
She's like an ogre.
Yes.
She's got
like
layers.
An ogre and an onion. Then we meet Dean, the bully. All the characters in here are very stereotypical. You've got like the best friend and you've got the bully. But I did write this down because I thought this was a funny exchange to me. But the bully comes over and says to Jamie, "Do you want to hear a joke?" What's gay? And says, "Ow." And then he slaps in the back of the head and Jamie goes, "Ow."
I did laugh at that.
And then he calls Pretty a fat, sweaty, swatty, spotty, specky, piggy virgin. And then tells Jamie he's gay. And I was like, after all that, dude, you couldn't come up with anything better than just you're gay. And then Jamie responds, "I am bent and I am queer and I am a faggot, batty bum boy. But you are a tragic meathead, micro-dick, scroner, povo, waste of space wanker." These Brits, they have a way with language.
All that tells you, I said this like 4 times watching this. I looked at Jen and I said, hurt people.
Hurt people. They sure do. They sure do. So after this exchange, Pretty's like, "You know what, Jamie? You need to wear those shoes and you need to wear them to prom." And then they sing the song Spotlight and Jamie decides, that's what I'm going to do. I am going to dress in drag and go to prom. So the mom goes to see the dad. This was such a sad part. That dude pissed me off. And I know him from somewhere.
He's from, well, I mean, like most British actors, he was in Harry Potter, but I don't know who he played.
I don't remember. I know I've seen him in other stuff, though. But he was.
He looks. They all look familiar.
They do, yeah.
But like the teacher looks familiar, but she's no. I've seen her in nothing. The bully looks very familiar, but he's been in nothing.
Excuse me. So the mom goes to see the dad and say, "Hey, why didn't you show up to Jamie's birthday?" And he says, "We don't have anything in common. All I wanted was a son who does boy stuff, and he does all that weird stuff that he does. We have nothing in common." And then he says, because he's remarried, the dad's remarried. He says, "My new wife is preggers." He doesn't use that word, I did. But she's preggers with a boy, so he doesn't need Jamie anymore. And I was like, what a dick.
Yeah. That made like the next few scenes just difficult, or the next few actions on the mother's part difficult to watch.
Yeah, because obviously she needs to tell her son, who thinks that his father wants a relationship with him, he just doesn't have time because he's working, wants nothing to do with him.
Right.
She needs, and well, we get to there, but so Jamie goes looking for a dress to go with his new shoes, and he visits a dress shop run by a drag queen.
Do you know the old drag queen? Do you know who?
That's Richard E. Grant.
He was in Saltburn.
He was in Saltburn. He was also nominated for an Oscar in that movie Melissa McCarthy's in, where she plays the author. The name of it escapes me right now.
Oh, right.
I can't remember. But he was also in Loki, the TV series. So he's been in a bunch of stuff. I love him. Everywhere I look, I don't think he's actually gay, which was throwing me off. I think he's married to a woman.
His
and has
quote
children.
When he's talking to Jamie about, he says, "You got to take life by the balls and tuck them between your legs and put a frock on."
He also said, as Jamie was hanging at the door, that made me laugh, "Don't linger in the door like an old nun's fart." What? I never went to Catholic school, but apparently old nuns' farts linger.
Oh, I wrote that down too.
So his name's Hugo. He owns the shop, and Jamie tells him he wants to be a drag queen. And Hugo asks, "Well, what's his name?" And because you got to have a drag name. And Jamie says, "I don't know, Sandra Banana." And it's like, no, that's not a good name. And Hugo tells him, he goes, "You need to do better than that."
You should have listened to this podcast. What did we say earlier? We came with a good one.
Oh, I didn't write it down. I'll go back and listen. So Hugo's describing
something.
Dusty
Fair.
Dusty Fair.
There we go.
Dusty
Brain works.
Fair.
There you go, Jamie. There's your drag name.
There's your drag name. So Hugo's explained to him, if you're a drag queen, you can't just be a boy in a dress. A boy in a dress is someone that you laugh at, but a drag queen is someone that you are afraid of, that you fear. So he says, I'm going to be your mentor. And then what I think was the best song in the whole movie, Hugo sings This Was Me. And it's a look back because we find out that Hugo was a drag queen back in the 80s. And the song is like a look back through his life through the 80s and 90s, finding your chosen family, finding love, and having everything taken away from you from the AIDS epidemic.
Yeah. It was like, hey, we're gonna do this movie about queer people, but we have to pay tribute to the AIDS crisis. Yeah,
because we're gonna do that. With this film, there's this old generation, new generation gap that they're bridging or trying to bridge with this film. So we find out that the prom is in 6 weeks. So Hugo's going to teach Jamie how to be a drag queen. And then after that, hearing Hugo's life story, Jamie runs out of the shop. It's just too overwhelming for him. What were you laughing at?
I was what I wrote down is the next quote from Jamie. He's talking to Pretty about this experience.
Yes.
And he was talking about, oh, do you know that how horrible it used to be that, talking about gay people in the 80s. And he's like, did you know that some of them died? Like literally died.
They sure did, Jamie. So he's literally telling Pretty about everything. And the reason he ran out of the shop is because he realized that drag isn't just something you watch on TV for fun, that it's rooted in revolution and it's rooted in the queens being warriors and how they fought for our future. And, they have I keep having this pop-up come up on my screen. So they go back and Jamie says he's ready. He's ready to take up this mantle of all this drag history. And so Hugo tells Jamie, you need to practice before you go to prom in drag. So he says you're going to perform at an amateur drag night at this gay bar. I'm assuming it looked like more like a rec center. It didn't look like a bar. But again, I don't know what bars are like in England. So Jamie tells his mom and Ray that he's going to do a drag show. And his mom's like, go for it. I'm so proud of you. Or something like that.
Exactly like that.
Exactly. I know. I don't want to brag. So Jamie's like, I want to invite my dad. And she's like, I don't think that's a good idea. And he goes, no. He's proud of me. I got the card. I know.
Maybe he'll be proud of me.
Oh, yeah. Maybe he'll be proud of me if he sees this.
And she says, okay. I'll invite him.
So Jamie starts working for his mom in her little convenience store, her grocery store where she works.
You got to get that frock money.
And working for Ray to earn money because he's got to get the dress. So, this
Why didn't the old drag queen just say, here's the dress?
Right? I think because you had to earn it.
Well, yeah, here's the most expensive dress here. Now go out there. I'm going to mentor you. Now go out there and raise a bunch of money and come give it to me.
Dude, listen, I'll mentor you, but I also got to earn a living. I can't just give you my shit for free. You got to pay for this. So this is where the bitch teacher just starts to really embrace her bitchiness. So
can I just say, because you're going to talk about this, I did write that she was nasty.
Yeah.
But didn't he cut her down first? Because you're about to tell the eyebrow story, right? Yeah.
Did he say something?
He did say something about, at least I have a life or something like that. He said something that demeaned her job or her being.
I mean, she deserved it.
And she does have red hair.
She's nasty. And in his defense, she is in a worthless job in a worthless town.
It can't be worthless. She's got Jimmy Choo's.
She stole those from poor Hugo. They were probably Hugo's shoes. He was down on his luck, and he had to sell them to her for 40 quid.
She used all the money she raised killing all those gays in the 80s.
So he's in the bathroom, and he's trying to do his eyebrows, and Pretty comes in. And
what was he trying to do?
I don't know. He was trying to make himself look surprised or something, because they were up into his hairline. And they're all kind of mucked up, so she goes, I help you. And then teacher starts banging on the bathroom door and she's like, what are y'all doing in there? And she comes in And, I did write down here, Jamie insults the teacher, but I didn't write what he wrote. So she decides, because they say it's part of an art project that Pretty's doing on him. So she goes, well, we'll just walk you down to the art room then, and you can finish it there. So he goes to wipe them off, and she goes, no, you walk down the hall with those eyebrows.
Shame.
It was very much like the Game of Thrones, walking him down. So they sing Work of Art, and she walks him into the art room, and the bully's there, and they're all mocking, laughing at him. And he's like, gets his proud drag cock going on. And he's like, I'm a drag queen and I don't care what you all think. And you all should come see me at the drag show because I'm going to slay, queen.
Yeah,
However
it's sort of like where I think maybe the guy could have gave him some advice that said, like, drag, you want to be fierce and you want to be feared, like, on stage as a performer, but like
not in your
everyday life. And
however,
everything.
he did tell him, don't go around telling everyone you're in the show because this is just kind of a practice.
So he
for
decided
you.
to tell everyone.
To tell everybody. So the bully and his friends decide to show up at the drag show. So do a bunch of the people from the school. And Hugo freaks out and he's like, I can't do it. So they sing the song Over the Top, which it was a little bit, and get him ready. And as he's getting ready, his mom comes by the box office and drops off flowers and says, can you give this to Jamie? And the guy's like, I don't know who Jamie is. And she's like, he's the skinny little blonde kid in there. So he's like, yeah, whatever, just leave the flowers there. So they get him all ready, and before he goes out on stage, they're like, oh, you need your drag name, which I thought that this was very apropos just because of the way Jamie acts. So Hugo says, because he's always like, well, me, blah, 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 my life is so hard. So Hugo says, that will be your drag name, Miss Me. Me. M-I-M-I space M-E. Me. Because Jamie's always saying it's about me. So he goes out there and he starts performing, and Dean and the other little goons are there in the audience, and they start heckling him as he's trying to perform. And then they, of course, get dragged out because, they're being assholes.
Dragged.
And then Jamie performs. And he does fantastic.
Have you ever seen a drag queen perform for their first performance?
I don't know. Oh, yes, I have.
Have you ever seen a drag queen perform for their 10th performance? And has any of them ever performed as well as Jamie did for his first?
I don't know if you know how special Jamie is.
I mean, I guess everyone's talking about him.
Everyone is talking about him. And we learned that in the next song, which is called Everybody's Talking About Jamie. That's how they sing it.
No wonder his name is Me. Everyone's talking about him.
So the school's all abuzz over Jamie's drag show. And then he shows up at school with these big sunglasses on and like an Audrey Hepburn scarf around his head. And he's all glamorous. He's like, I'm Mimi now. And he's just like prancing around the school, and he gets in the class and he takes his glasses off and his little kerchief. And he's got big old eyelashes on and makeup. And the bitch teacher's like, take those off now. And he's like, no, I am Mimi, and I will wear this however I want and whenever I want. So she takes him to the principal's office, and she's like yelling at him, and then she leaves to go get, I guess she went to go get the principal because he's just sitting in the room by himself. And then Dean comes in, and he's all like, you're such a weirdo. So Jamie kisses him, which seems like a weird response to your bully, but I guess kill him with kindness, they say.
I wondered, like, I didn't see them pull out their consent apps and consent. Yeah. So he kind of
sexually
assaulted him.
That is assault.
Yeah.
So Dean yells at him and calls him he calls him disgusting, which triggers Jamie. And we'll find out here in a minute why, because he calls him disgusting. So then the principal comes in, and then Mom and Ray have to come down to the school, and the bitch teacher's all being homophobic and shit, and she's like, your little queer son with his big old eyelashes. So So she says, I don't know what the hell is wrong with this principal. Like, do you run the school or does the teacher run the school?
Like at one point, Jen looks at me while we're watching this and she's like, are there any other teachers in the
Right?
school at all? It's just this one lady. It's her opinion. That's it.
Yeah,
But it's
she's
clearly a stage show that they
Yeah,
turn into a
yeah.
movie, which like, you know.
Which I get, so you can't have a bunch of teachers. But the principal is literally sitting right next to her. And she's like, you can't go to prom if you're going to be dressed like that.
Like if Glee taught me anything and this show taught me anything, it's that there's no such thing as a principal.
That's true.
Also, Love Simon. There was a vice principal. There was no
that's
principal.
true. That I guess in gay stories there is no
I
such
want to
thing
be a
as
principal. Apparently, you don't have to do anything.
Oh, excuse me. So she's like, if you're gonna come to prom, you're gonna come in a suit like a boy, and you're not gonna dress in a dress like a girl. And they storm out. They're like, the mom and Ray, and they're like, we will see you in court or whatever the fuck they do.
I'm calling my lawyer.
So Jamie goes and she's venting to he's venting to Pretty, and she says something. At first, when she started talking, I was like, you're a very unsupportive friend. And then she's saying, and I was like, I get your point. So Pretty was saying, you don't have to be Mimi because being Jamie is good enough.
Aww. Not
That's the
only is
lesson,
she
kids.
pretty on the outside,
She's pretty
she's
and
pretty on the
and smart
inside.
on the inside. Pretty smart.
although she does give Jamie
pretty smart.
some pretty terrible advice. Now, it's not her fault because they're all being misled.
Yes. But yes. No, if she had the full story and Jamie had the full story, this probably would have been
Right.
handled better, but she did give
But you
some
can
terrible
just
advice.
see the train wreck coming and you can't stop watching it. And he's like, my dad called me disgusting
Yes, and that's why it
that
triggered
hurts
him.
me so much. And she's like, and I wish that he would come to see me for who I am and love me. And she's like, he did send me the birthday card. And she
we forgot to
said,
mention that. When he got the flowers, there was a card in them that says, from your dad.
yeah.
So he thinks he's
So
getting
he
card
thinks
and
his dad
flowers.
loves that he's doing this. And so Pretty says, you got to go see him.
Go see him.
He's like, he's
Go
not
talk
answering
to
my
him.
text. Go see him.
He
clearly
obviously
loves
wants
you.
to talk to you.
You've got to go there.
Go now, Jamie. Run. Go.
Stop talking to me. Get over there.
And Jamie says,
And his
you're right.
So he gets his
And
short little tie and
His little
rides
short
his-
shorts, and he runs over there, and I assume he skipped the whole way. Skipping down the
I
sidewalk.
think he just floated 1 inch above the ground.
And he gets there, and the look on his dad's face when he walks up, this is the look. He's like, oh, Jesus. This kid again. And he's like, Dad, where you been? And he's like, you're no son of mine. And basically tells him he wants nothing to do with him. Didn't your mother tell you? I want nothing to do with you.
Yeah, he's like, I didn't send you any flowers. Because he said, but you sent me the flowers.
Flowers
And
in
he's
the
like,
card. He goes,
what are you
"What
talking about? I didn't send you anything.
Fags and flowers. And he's just a horrible man.
Why did you say that? Like, Hulk smash, fax and flower.
That's how his father is. He's a Neanderthal. So then, of course, you just hear that this man hates you. Your father doesn't want to be around you. So, of course, you would run home and then lash out at your mother.
This is where, again, hurt people. And he goes on a tear right now to destroy everything.
So he goes over there and he goes, why'd you lie to me, Mum? And she's like, oh, did it for you, Jamie. I didn't want to hurt you. And he goes, well, you hurt me. And then he grabs the dress and he rips it. And he's like, there is no Mimi anymore. And you're dead to me. And then he storms out.
And then he says the thing, I think that kids say this to their parents when they're mad. But listen, don't. Don't say, you ruin everything.
Yeah.
I don't think that's true.
Everything?
Just your life. No.
Have you even seen everything, Jamie? There's a lot out there.
You're
she ruined
16.
everything?
Right? Did she write the final episode to Seinfeld? I don't think she ruins everything.
Did she do the last season of Game of Thrones? Did she decide that Ted ended up with Robin at the end of How I Met Your Mother? She didn't ruin everything, Jamie. Some people just ruin things themselves.
Did she vote for Donald Trump 3 times?
Anyway, then she sings this song, He's My Boy, which was a very sweet song. But while she's singing it, Oh, you have something to say?
I was just going to ask you if you recognize that song. Because when we went to...
It sounded familiar.
We went to that thing, the Sing House Scholarship announcement at the Renaissance. Remember you and Jen and I went, and the woman got up and sang and said, "This is from Everybody Loves Jamie." It was from that.
Yes.
You might recognize it from the amount of times that she sings "My Boy." I'm sure that's the title of the song.
It is. It's "He's My Boy." Is the
Yeah.
name of the title. It wasn't so much the song I remembered, but the way she says "boy" in the song. I was like, I've heard this somewhere.
Yeah.
But while she's singing it, we see Jamie. He goes to a convenience store. I think it's the one his mother works at. And he takes a bottle of, I'm just going to say vodka. I didn't see what the label said, but he takes alcohol.
Yeah, so first of all, I said rude kid when he was screaming at his mom.
Yeah.
Rude kid. And now he's a thief.
Now he's a thief.
So he goes into this place and he steals
Slippery
everything.
slope.
He steals like makeup.
Yeah.
Is there a store that sells makeup and liquor? I guess there must be.
Walgreens?
Does Walgreens sell
Yeah.
liquor?
Wine and
Like,
beer, I think.
But he steals like what I assume is a bottle of vodka. So I was just thinking it was like hard liquor that was
I mean,
out.
things are different in England.
Oh, that's true. I forget.
In England, you can buy everything at the corner store.
Yeah.
Your drugs and your makeup and your booze.
I mean, there are upsides to colonization.
Ugh, God, I miss it. So he takes it
You're
and
about to see a whole new version of it.
he drinks, and then he goes to a soccer match, and he steals one of the uniforms.
This is a
and
wise choice.
He ladies it up.
He makes the shirt into a dress.
Yeah, he kind of, twists it where it pushes your nipples up, and then the
Look,
shorts.
I used to
It
date
looks
this
like
guy.
a nice little lady outfit.
I used to date this guy. I swear to you.
Yeah.
He took a pair of black gem shorts, and you can turn it into like a black dress.
Huh.
It's fascinating. It worked. I'm just saying.
All right.
Like
all
you
right.
just pull.
Well,
like
that's kind of what he does.
I mean, I couldn't do it because I would look like, I don't know, like someone shoving a ham through a chain link fence. But he like pulls the strap up over his shoulder like that, and then
Don't knock it. I do
it
love
worked.
ham. So he gets all dolled up and he's drinking and he runs out onto the pitch, which is what they call
Good
it.
job.
Yeah.
Using that Ted Lasso
I tell ya.
memory.
And he's drinking. You're like, what is he doing? And then you realize his dad is in the stands watching this match. And he's all like drinking. He's like, woo, I'm a soccer player, Dad. And then he gets run off the field and beat up by this guy. I'm going to use air quotes around beat up. All it looked like is he shoved him, but then when his dad comes over, he's like bloody from the nose. And I was like, oh, I guess the guy hit him off camera or something.
No, he pushed him into the fence or something. I think.
Oh, it is face slamming in the fence or something?
Or on the
All right.
wall. That's what I think they were
You
going
have very
for.
tender bones there, Jamie. He didn't shove you that hard.
He does a perfect face for drag.
He did. Oh, he was a beautiful
Beautiful.
woman. Beautiful woman. Dainty
Like, very, like-
features. Yeah.
They've like strong features.
So he goes to Hugo's dress shop and he's banging on the door, and then Hugo cleans up some of his wounds. Not all of them, because
No,
he's
'cause
still got to go home and have his mom fix up
Yeah.
his wounds. So he's like, no, just
Couldn't take all of it.
halfway. I
Yeah.
gotta let my mom do the other half because I still gotta apologize to her when we're
I
done
got a
here.
song with her back in the kitchen.
So
I got to get
not
to her.
everything. Just wipe the blood away and she'll get the rest. So Hugo cleans up his wounds, and Jamie's like, I don't know who I am. And Hugo's like, of course you don't know who you are. You're 16. You're not supposed to know who you are. And he gives him a piece of advice before he leaves. He goes, the final rule of drag is there are no rules. Just, be who you want to be. There is no set of guidelines. You have to be what everybody tells you need to be. So Jamie goes home and he apologizes to his mom, and his mom apologizes for lying, and then they make up. I feel like he owed his mom a little more than just the, I'm sorry. But you know what? It's his mother.
Yeah, it's a movies. It worked.
So his mom cleans up the rest of his wounds.
I
and
did
tells
like their
Jamie-
song.
Oh, that is
a
it's
lot.
a good song. She tells him he's beautiful. So then the kids start getting ready for prom. And it's like, will Jamie show up as Mimi? Will he wear a dress? Will he wear a suit?
So many questions.
So many questions.
So little time.
And they answer it almost immediately because it's
Yeah.
not that long of a montage. So it's just like the kids getting ready for prom. And so they're all standing. I don't know. I didn't understand this. Like they were just waiting for it to open or what. So everybody's standing like in the parking lot waiting to go in for prom. And Dean starts insulting Pretty. And Pretty, as the queen say, reads him for filth.
Good speech,
Good
too.
speech.
It's
And
one of
she's
those
like,
expected speeches that's
yeah,
just like...
she's like, you're the big fish in this little pond here, and that's great, but in about 5 hours, school's done, and you're a nobody.
Yeah.
and I'm going to move on, and I'm going to be great. And you're going to be here just like that bitch teacher making nothing of yourself.
Now, there was a song earlier I think it was the song in the kitchen, and they were showing everybody's lives and how they were, and they showed this bully at home with his dad passed out.
Yeah.
And you could tell, like, that's why he's a bully. Kind of cliche,
As you said,
but the truth.
People hurt
people. So, so when she gave that speech, he knew that she was being truthful, that his life was over in 5 hours.
This is it.
And what else could he do at that moment?
He succumbs to the grief.
But succumb to the grooming of the drag queen.
Jamie shows up, and he is in a dress, but he's not Mimi. He is himself. So wasn't going to wear the suit. He's wearing a nice little white dress. Oh, was that his mother's wedding dress?
I think it was.
Full circle. I just realized. I was like, he's wearing a pretty white dress. Her dress. The dress that his father caught him in. It all came together. But it's a pretty dress, and he's not all dolled up to look like Mimi. He's just Jamie. And the bitch teacher comes out, and she's like, "What did I say, Jamie? You can't come into this prom in a dress." And the students rally behind Jamie, and they're like, "Well, if he's not going in, we're not going in." And then she just kind of stands there for a minute. She goes, "Go on in, Jamie."
Well, it's a weird scene because, there was a little bit that happened because they didn't just immediately get his back, because he said, "You told me not to come as in drag. You said to come as me, and this is me." And so I think the kids were listening, and they were like, "Oh, well, fine. Then this is actually kind of fun and cool." And she's like, "All right, everybody in." Now, when she said everybody in, they assumed she meant everybody but Jamie.
Yeah.
But nobody tried
because
she said it twice, everybody in. He could have tried to go in.
Yeah. So she's like, "Get in there."
But
so they all go in.
Yeah. And then she finally said,
"Yeah." And then she's
"Come
like,
on, Jamie,
nice shoes." And it's like, oh, the bitch melted. So everybody goes in except for Dean, who's over there in the corner, realizing Pretty's words have penetrated his thick skull, and he realized my life is going to suck. So Jamie goes over, and he's like, you can be whoever you want to be. This drag queen once told me there are no rules. And he's like, "Oh, life's too hard for me." And he's like, "Well, come on in and just have a dance with me." He's like, "I'm not a queer." And he goes, come on. Maybe you'll like it. Just come in and have a dance with me. So he's like, "Okay." And he takes his hand and he leads him in, and they all have a good time at prom and live happily ever after to the final song credits roll. Well done, Jamie. And that is it.
Yeah, that was it.
And we brought this in under 90 minutes. I'll tell you what, when we're dangling air supply over you, we get done quick. But no, I really liked the movie. I thought it was cute. Some of it was a little cheesy, predictable type movie, but I think it's fine. I don't think everything has to be groundbreaking. Brokeback Mountain style tragedy. I thought this was an adorable movie. I'm surprised we haven't watched it before.
It's one of those, when I watched the preview, I said, "Oh, this is going to be this kind of feels fun, cool thing," and it actually was in the long run. What do you think Rotten Tomatoes was?
Rotten Tomatoes loves British shit, so they probably said 91%. 91 points to Gryffindor is what they would say in Britain. And then audiences, I'll say 82.
Critics was 86.
All right.
And audience was 68.
Brits are homophobic too. Who knew?
I tried to scroll through. There was 105 total things, and I tried to scroll through and look for the splats and see what people had to say about it. And there was one that was hilarious, and I thought I copied and pasted, but I didn't. So you'll have to go read it yourself. But most of the complaints about it were that it was too contrived or too cliche.
Yeah, I can see that. It's a little cliche.
But I don't care. Sometimes a little cliche is nice. Like, it's sort of like the homage to the 80s was like sort of like kind of forced in a way of like, oh, well, we have to do this thing, and
I get you.
And then
it still was my favorite part.
And then it's like sort of the end of it was awesome. I loved it. But then you get to the end, and it's like, oh, how quickly everybody switched, and like, oh, and then the bully hugs the drag queen, and they go in and dance, and the drag queen leads, and it was all.
It reminded me a lot of The Prom.
Yeah.
Adorable, great musical, very cute, but it is very cliche. And I feel like, particularly in the shithole that we're living in right now, sometimes we need a little cliche.
Yeah. You know, you need a little happiness and joy, and let's let people be who they fucking are.
But I'll give it 3 grapes.
3 grapes?
Yeah. I think it's a good watch. It's worth it. I wouldn't sign up for Amazon Prime just for this movie, but if you're not stupid, you already have Amazon Prime because you watch Red, White, Royal Blue every week. So just watch this too.
Jesus Christ.
I'm just saying it's one of the greatest movies ever, and I love it so much. I watched it last week again. It's so good. Anyway, I think that's what all we have for you.
It is.
Sorry, I was reminiscing about those hands again.
Okay. So do we know what we're going to talk about next week? Are we going to do this Prime Target thing? Or are we going to do something else?
I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see. You don't have to watch 8 episodes of Prime Target if you don't want. It went really fast. They're really short.
I'm going to look. There's a movie that I was telling you I saw a trailer for of this gay couple, and they're bringing their parents together to introduce them. And they're doing it at this house that apparently is haunted, but it's a comedy. So I'm going to look at when I think that comes out this week. So maybe
is it
we'll
like the TV show Ghost? I would watch that.
Oh, kind of, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I can do that.
It's not scary. It's a comedy.
Okay.
But it's like, more like Ghost than scary movie.
Like a bear comedy or like a real comedy?
I mean, it's a little bearish, I think. No, it's a comedy.
All right.
I haven't seen it, but we will see
Well, I have an Air Supply concert to get
to. And then,
so
so y'all enjoy your week. And until then, the cork is back in the bottle.